As a generation now, we have more options than we've ever had in the entire history of civilization. Imagine that. Now that might sound exaggerated, but we live in a world of noise, distraction, cheap dopamine, and it's all too much to handle sometimes. Now, if you're watching this as somebody who's literally on the cusp of going insane because you can't figure out what to do next with your life, then this video should help. And this is not just somebody rambling on, this is someone talking from experience. My name is Joe Butler. I've lived in Dubai for 5 years. I've had so many businesses. I've done so many different things. I've traveled to many different countries. I've made over 7 figures in real estate, and that's not a flex, that's not a brag. That's something I'm actually proud of, but something to show that I've got the credibility to talk about this. And also someone who, once they made their money, felt very lost after it and had to recenter themselves. Sitting in a room now. This is my partner's room. She's got her sound healing all laid out. So, I mean, this is where I do my breath work, my meditation. We do some sound healing. It's a beautiful setup. And one day I really wanted to connect with my deeper self, my spiritual level, to feel a sense of fulfillment in this crazy life. But I also know what it's like when you're in a position and the feedback loop starts with paralysis. There's so many options. You see all of these different snippets on social media, which I call, they're just glamorizations of people's lives. How many times have you posted the best bit of your holiday on social media, and to somebody else from the outside, it looks like a picture perfect holiday? Little did they know you had a terrible argument with your girlfriend, you fell over drunk, you know, everything was overpriced, you actually didn't enjoy it, but the sunset looked beautiful, which made it look like to everybody else that the holiday was picturesque. Do you get what I mean? So they're curated images into other people's lives. And so when we see these successful people on social media, we very quickly get emotional about how we feel towards it, okay? Without even realizing it. You know, let's say you're in a job right now or a business and you're not maybe doing so well, or you're not necessarily making as much money as you thought you would, or you've not got a lot of money at all, for example, and then you see this guy who's making $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 or more per month in AI, in drop shipping, and you automatically assume that you need to go and do that. But your purpose is driven by cash. So you very quickly feel like you want to drop everything and just sidetrack over there. Now we're going to get into purpose a little bit later on, but as I said, on this feedback loop, it starts with this, you know, getting jealous about other people's lives. I always believe it starts like that. And then what happens is the paralysis kicks in, and then from there we need an escape. Now I see this all the time, especially with men, but also women, but particularly men, especially in a place like Dubai where I'm living right now. So cheap dopamine comes in the form of, I mean, many things, right? Nicotine is a big one right now. Vaping, snus, cigarettes, you've got alcohol, you've got drugs, you've got porn, you've got gambling, doom scrolling. You know, that is a big hit of dopamine that people actually spend the most time on. The average is now 5 hours per day, but I see people spend way more than that on their phone time, with 80 to 90% of that being on social media, which is quite sad to think about it. So that then leads you in a state of mind where you're not present and in the moment, and also your brain becomes too scattered to focus. Now, when you lose that focus, you can never hone in on what you actually want to do with your future, okay? So once this feedback loop hits that vice point, I call that the point where the escapism starts. Now, when that escapism starts, that's where, you know, addiction starts as well. So you get addicted to the vape, you get addicted to drinking, you get addicted to all these other things. Now, it doesn't mean that you're an alcoholic or a drug addict or whatever, but you're just escaping as much as possible. And that is just going to bring this gap further and further apart from where you want to be and where you think you should be. Now, there's a framework in which I follow when I get into this, all right? I call it the reset. And I actually do this every day anyway, but I think about what the perfect day would look like. It always starts waking up at the same time every day, not hitting snooze because I don't use an alarm, but waking up consistently every day between 5 and 6 a.m. because I go to bed at the same time every night. Now again, that doesn't necessarily have to be you, because you might go to bed later than me. I go to bed before 10 o'clock, so I wake up early, but if you're someone who sleeps later, as long as you have that same routine every morning. Now, once you're up in the morning, it's about prioritizing yourself. The first hour should not be touching the phone, touching the laptop. It should be about meditating. It should be about breath work. It should be about just minimal movement, but basically connecting with the self, okay? Connecting with the consciousness. So for me, it looks like 10 minutes of movement, just some basic stuff, straight into my breath work, which then leads into like 20 to 30 minutes of my meditation. That's a long time. That's somebody who doesn't have a lot of patience for meditation, but has nailed the art of the breath work, which means that I now can sit in this comfortable state. After this, I always go to the gym, but for some people as well, if you've got really important tasks, I always recommend doing them after that. For me, I like to go to the gym, but I'd say if I've got 10, 15 minutes that I want to spend, I always spend doing my deep work. So something that's really personal to me. This can even be an hour. This is a time where, again, nothing to do with the phone, but somewhere where you have to really think about something, like thinking about your purpose, thinking about your vision, visualizing what you want in the future, a bit of manifestation, that kind of stuff where you're not getting distracted. Maybe nobody's up in the house and it's just you and the paper, okay? After that, I always go to the gym, all right? And after that, I always make sure I'm eating well. So you see, it's about the inner work, the meditation, the breath work, and then it's also about the physical work, the gym, okay, and the movement, and then it's also about the nutrition, all right? That's very important to me as well, because you don't put petrol in a diesel. So you want to fuel your body with good sources of food, okay, organic foods, whole foods, not this processed crap. Right now, I'm on a vegetarian diet. I'm trying it for a month, and my body feels clean. I'm eating a lot of vegetables. I'm eating a lot of fruit. I feel good. I feel light. I feel like my digestion is really good. And, I will go back to eating meat, but a lot less. So that just gives you an example, because now my whole inner system feels like it's strong, it's healthy. And now what does this mean? This means that I can think clearly, because if all of this is messed up, I'm drinking excess caffeine, I'm drinking lots of fizzy drinks, I'm fueling my body with crap from McDonald's, everything gets clogged up, the whole system gets messy, all right? So you want to cleanse the body, make it feel good. And then from here, one of the biggest things I would always say is don't spend your time with negative energy. Vibrations is a real thing. Sound is a very good example, sound healing. No, but vibrations are a real thing. If you're spending time with low vibration, low frequency people in your circle who, when you've got a great idea, they say, well, you're not going to be able to do that. And you need money for that. You can't do that. You've got no experience. These types of people are going to bring your vibration down, and you're just forever going to be stuck in this jail, in this prison, in this mindset that you can't do it. That's exactly why I don't spend much time with a lot of people. I spend time with only good people, good quality people, because I haven't got the time for drama. I haven't got the time for noise. I don't want, when I express an idea to somebody, for them to be like, yeah, that's good, but no, I heeded it and it didn't work. For me to be like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do it. And that is a real big problem in today's era. So if you can follow these frameworks, you can release any of that trapped energy in the morning. You can do your meditation, your breath work. You can get, on paper, visualizing, manifesting what you really want out of your life. Get clear on your goals. Get to the gym. Get in good shape. You've never seen me not in good shape, because it's a staple of my life. Because it's the number one thing that you cannot replace and get another one, and that's your body, okay? This is your health, it matters the most. And from there, fueling the body with nutrition, because it complements the training. And then also not spending time with negative people. Protect your energy, because that's number one. Remember, that sacred hour in the morning is about you and what you consume. If it's your phone, if it's bad energy, that's going to ruin your entire day. Now, once you've built this framework around the system and you know that you've sort of reset and you're like, okay with that, now it's time to spend some time thinking about what you really want. Get deep. Think about what purpose you want to the world. I've been in real estate for 4 years. I've made over 7 figures. I've done extremely well. I've sold clients all over the world, football players, celebrities, everything, all right? And I'm proud of what I've done, but I don't brag about it, especially being in Dubai in a place of noise, smoke and mirrors. Now I seek inner peace. Now I seek soul search. Now I want to help people on their journey because I see a lot of broken people just wandering through this earth feeling lost, and it makes me feel like people need help, and that's what I want to do. I started hosting my retreats. We've got a second one in Austria in September, and for me this is very important. This is very important for my life where it is right now. I'm working with people one-on-one, inviting them to a safe space to be vulnerable, to do breath work, to get focused, but also to train hard, push past their limiting beliefs, do hard things. I'm going to sign up to the T100 this year. I'm going to do that other 100-kilometer triathlon. I'm going to do the 35-kilometer hike in the Jebel Jais mountains again in January. I'm probably going to do more triathlons in between that. I like pushing myself. I like pushing my mind beyond its limits because my body will follow what my mind does, okay? So that's important. So it's about doing all of this and just making little steps every week. Why am I making these YouTube videos every single day? I'm making progress every single day. I'm making a very realistic weekly target. I know that if I want to eventually coach people full time, then I need to make videos. I need to get exposure. All right, this week, 5 YouTube videos, 7 YouTube videos actually it is. Every day we're posting, every single day. This is the kind of thing you need to do. Find the big purposeful goal, and if you don't know what that is, just think about the perfect life and trying to design what you think you want, and then make small actionable steps, realistic, achievable goals. I believe it's called SMART goals. And just watch everything start to unfold. But follow this channel for positivity. I will be setting up groups later on, but for now, I just want to give this message to the world. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.